It's live now.
Yes.
So, what causes the fear? There is a physical fear if the tiger is here. Okay, because we have the memories of tiger. That's one physical fear. And the fear which is not there but is in in the head. Oh, whether will I get corona or not corona?
Yeah, what if, all imagining
Imagine
scenarios.
So that's why if you look at the word fear, the FEAR, false entity which appears as real. So, like the very famous example of the rope and the snake. So, when you don't see very clearly in the darkness, you are even afraid of the snake.
Yeah.
And you say, when you see very clearly, you see it's not snake, it's a rope.
Mm-hmm.
So when some challenge is there face to face, house is caught on fire, or there is a animal appear or tiger, then you respond, or a cobra is here, you respond automatically without the thinking, without, and that's natural. But when it's inside your imagination, what is imagination?
Um, well, it's the creative stories or visual that your mind creates that
Yeah. So it's like
occupying the mind with
like
stories.
another dream.
Mm.
It's a imagination. Is a dream state. So mind causes because of the past and the future. Mind caused that. Suppose you say 5 year old and cobra comes from the door open there, will it run away? No, the child will look like this. Because he has not memory of that. I have seen the child playing with the bulldog, pit bull, because they just relate on a different platform. No fear, no past, no future. And that's how a dead, suppose a dead man and a tiger comes or cobra comes, is it afraid? No, because it does not have the mind. So we as the ego or the mind cause that. So intellect means the mind filtered out by the knowledge become intellect, yes and no. Some because mind always filter. This is good, this is wrong. This is good, this is wrong. This is good, this is bad, always. So this is a story, another story. Story means reflection. Reflection means what? Which is illusionary. Illusionary means real and yet not real. Uh, like the dream world is both real and unreal.
Mhm.
When you are in the dream, is real.
If 100% feels like life, like, yeah.
So relative and the absolute. The absolute actually has no good, bad, right, wrong, non-dual. The time is no longer in the absolute because it cannot be divided. Like a dead person is not afraid of the changes because all the mind has settled down into the absolute mind. Actually, the mind is not even yours. You imagine it is yours because it's always a bundle of thoughts, bundle of thoughts.
Yeah.
Uh, so, like if you see one block and there are 50 people filter out the same corona fear into 50 different definitions. Means what? Some are against it, some are pro it, some are just taking in the middle. So it always changing, like the waves on the ocean, always changing, like you're on the freeway and you watch, observe any freeway is never the same. That's why people say you can never meet the same person again. What that means is, or the other way you say, you cannot step in the same river again. Why and how? Because the very flow is changing, and non-changing. So where is the change? It's all in the illusion, perception. When perception is cluttered with the head, it creates clouds. When it is clear perception, is established in the absolute means the sky. The sky does not change. The sky does not change, but you cannot observe the sky. It's all clouded by the clouds. And clouds is never the same, it's clouded. And that's why the computer memory and that they are relating with the clouds. Clouds is like always changing, 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 like the air. But each person is changing each moment because body mind is changing. You're like a river. You see your circulation of the blood, of the body changing, changing, changing. Nails are changing, growing.
Yeah.
And the mind is changing, changing. If you identify to the body mind as the ego, then you always changing and you suffer because certain things you don't want change, like people don't want to get wrinkled or their nails too long, hairs too long, because they identify to one image and picture. But if they wake up to the fourth state, fourth is, what are the three stages? Waking, dreaming, sleeping. The fourth state is witnessing all the three states. Then you're returning back to the 5-year-old. Then the wow state. Wow state. Wow state means wondrous. Wondrous without the thought. Observing without the observer. Now, is that state happy? If it is happy, it will create unhappy. It is ecstatic. Ecstatic means stepping out of all changes. Ecstatic. Ecstatic means stepping out. In that world, you are like the life itself become a movie. The life becomes a movie without the movie because you get clear perception. You see how the mind and ego, what you call, filter out through memory. But memory is not there, mind is not there. Memory good, memory mind good as a servant, bad as a master. And that's what happened. There is you cannot even think and calculate, which is uncalculatable, which is unknowable. What is that? Unknowable. That means the instrument you have, the mind, cannot think about it, about The mind only has to make move. It has to create the fear. Perpetuation fear. Fear means non-movement movement. It's always, 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 always. That's the nature of the mind. And then there are lot of techniques and methods and gurus who will uh, teach you the techniques. Leave it alone, body, mind, because any changes you make in the reflection is still imaginary.
Mhm.
Like you are bringing changes in the dream state. Of course, you can think about it, but that's only on thought level. You go out in the garden, you will have a shadow.
Mhm.
You don't want too long shadow. You step back, it's different, it's changing. Your control of the shadow is also illusory. How do you make changes in the shadow? When the original you change, then the shadow can change.
Yeah.
So, what is the original and prime? That prime state is beyond the name and form. What were your face like before you were born? What was your name before you were born? Beyond the name and form. That you cannot capsule the light into a capsule. Why? Because something in the matter, that's why it always feels restless, because it's a contracted energy. Contracted means boundaries, contracts. It's always restless, restless, either mental or physical, mental or physical. And that's why the natural fear or various forms of fear, as long as the matter is there, the boundaries are there, fear has to be there.
Mm.
Look at the countries, so-called superpower. They are more fear than other fear. They are restless because another weapon will come, another fear will come. A person who is not millionaire thinks that he, after million, he will be happy. He will, but it's only illusion. Illusion. Instead of wasting your life, precious life, go and meet the billionaire, and you will find very quickly. You don't need to waste time, life, energy. Therefore, this question, many times in other tape we talk, who am I? So people don't have a genuine burning question. They just only, with their little rotten, frozen memory, they just try to fancy question. A scientist or a person who is very, very deep question, serious question. Who am I? The one, because this is not a mental concept, because those mental, they are called mediocre. Mediocre mind put mediocre question and is content or satisfied and does not really go to the depth. It's very rare who is like Buddha who put that question, who am I? And then he discovered that there is no need of suffering and painful practices. The beloved, the divine is knocking at you at your door. Wake up, shake up the head, the mind, constantly befooling oneself into the different forms of fear. Because this world is made up of fear. One has one kind, another has another kind.
Yeah.
As long as the subject and objects are there,
And the news, if you have the news of any kind,
someone has the fears of the relationship, some has fears of money,
economic or
Eco-
health.
all the time. Why? Oh, I had the 50-year different kind of toilet, different bathroom. Now it comes a new one. It's a new kind of model of the car. Constantly. That's why the whole super mall is made with the mind of the woman. Woman in the sense that they get enjoyment, buying, shopping, like men, alcoholic. Their alcohol, their high is the bags, 5 bags, 4 bags, and this. That's all their mind is. And this is called the proper word, entanglements or forgetfulness of the painful body. It has nothing to do with the non reactive mind, the 5-year-old child who look without any fear, fearless state. The enlightened one become like 5-year-old, but if the great Maharishis, great yogis come and walk on Rodeo Drive, they won't be able to relate to anyone because their aura and existence is totally different. If the great masters like the Moses or Christ, they come to their temples and church, the organized religion will throw them out because they will spoil their business, going business. But the one who is fearless, has the quality beyond fear, beyond death, because the time is no longer. He is beyond the planetary changes, like, say, tomorrow, Mercury retrograde, or this change, this. Those are always there. Those changes, they affect the person who is stuck in the ego, in the mind. But there is a new way of life. Step out of the thinking, stinking machine of the head, mind, head. Nobody says the stinking machine.
Thinking, stinking.
Thinking, except if you take a shot, that shot will slow it down, but that is a fake slowdown. That's called going in the backyard, then you come back to the home again. That's the fake.
You mean when you go take a break? And
Yeah.
You go around the block or you go do something else and you come back?
Yeah,
That's fake.
mind has invented that what you call entanglement, temporary. These are the toys. You know, mama gives the child, hey, dear parrot, this toy, this toy. You play for a while. You are absorbed by the object. Absorption.
Mhm.
Absorption. You are like, you are busy in that. That's how how the life changes. You are absorbed into the one room of toys. You are growing up, you are growing up, you are growing up. Then you have other kind of toys, houses, cars, and you are puffed up. You are puffed up. Oh, you have so many houses, you have so, but all that is waste of energy because you are preparing to live and you did not live. You hardly lived 8 hours out of 80-year life. So is there another way of living? When you flush out the system, flush out the world, the objective world from your system, and that is always knocking, always simultaneously flowing. The bliss state is still there, and dogs, cats are enjoying more. So it's not that another Satyuga will come when people would be honest. And no, darkness and light all the time is the dance of the consciousness. If you are low minded and more stupid, you get entangled into the darkness and the objects derived from the darkness, from the ignorance. When you are intelligent and creative intelligent, no more interest into those mundane, ignorant things. Your life changes, your food changes, your behavior changes because you are the unchangeable. And the scriptures have to give the words, the eternal spirit, the eternal thou, or in Sanskrit, the Brahma. So these are only the words. What a miracle that kind of spark, that kind of light is not something to read or think about. That already is only you step out of the dark shades of darkness, recognize the fear, what causes the fear. Otherwise, in the loop, being in the loop, you don't know even you are in the loop.
Yeah.
How? It's like a person who is married to a criminal or in the jail, don't know, because what cover? It is the illusion which cover. The same way, this innocence, the pure innocence, marries the ignorant mind. And once married, then it becomes a zygote. Zygote means inseparable.
Mm.
And then that's how the one goes into the chain of birth and death. Birth and death is like a movie. Like there are people who can spend 10 hours on the beach playing with the sand. But then a wave come, smash the whole castle.
Mhm.
Where the 10 hours gone? You can call it wasting or not wasting. It says how you interpret it. But that play of making a castle on the beach is so divine because you are not there.
Yeah.
You are not earning a $5 or $10. You are there, but you are not even there. What is there? The cosmic is is happening. That's how the poet says, what is this life full of care? Not a minute to look and stare. Full of care means the mind.
Mhm.
Whether it is gold mine or iron mine, it's the same.
Yeah.
It's the same. Why? The taste of that nectar is in the divine sound sleep. But it is so precious that we don't certify, don't recognize, because that's the most important. Like the breathing. The breathing we are breathing, we don't even recognize because you are it. Without the breath, the whole fear is gone. So, but the mind and ego, illusory. Illusory mean give you this much pleasure, this much pain. This much pleasure, this much pain. Constantly acting, reacting. Is there a state where the mind is no longer?
In death?
clear perception. Not that you are to achieve, because mind will invent some technique and method, because it perpetuates, it hides. It's the nature of the ego, because that's why some people, they try to explain truth cannot be taught, it can be caught, not even caught, it is. See, because what happened is truth cannot be taught means that if you give the method, then again you are in the loop of again. So imagine we want to make a movie without the words, because that's the nearest, the closest you can go to the truth. How would you do? Sign language may be closer. Because if cats and dogs are the director and producer, how they will make their movie? So silence, of course, men want to watch the movie, action, emotion, that is the drama,
Distraction.
distraction, drama distraction. How can you make a movie of the sound sleep? Yes, if there are scientific minds, they will explain that maximum movement is in the field of non-movement. What that means? Maximum activity. Why? Because when there is no vacuum, the maximum, like no gravity, then you can easily jump and walk, even 10 feet.
Yeah.
So that's a new field. Winning the war without the winning, without the winning the war without the weapons. Weapons are the external manifestation of anxiety and stress. But do they war? Here, this thumb with these fingers, do they war? Which day they war? Wednesday or Thursday? Neither of the day. Why? Because it is not two. When there is no two, there is no need. So, when will it stop? It's not when. Because if we observe, as long as time is there, the war means adjustment. So changes are there. Changes are there. And there are people wasting life. The real wise one will have the war with the war itself. What that means? Step out of the basura. Don't step on the cow dung. Now, these words, if one seriously, clearly see, there is the nature of the mind always to perpetuate fear. How do I get rid of the mind? Not with the mind. You are in a different state. Like if I rub the two stones, how do I make a mirror? How? 1 year or 10 year, you will still the same. But that's what it says. that already there is, no how, already there is, the beloved already is. Just recognize. Recognize means don't keep being befooled by your own self. The more and ignorant, that's why they call it ignorance. Ignorance compared with the darkness. And light is light. You know, light you cannot capture. It's not moving. It's non-movement. It already is. It's no measurement. It's no time. So you cannot know it. Unknowable. Is it the black hole? Black hole of divine hole is is include all the objects, all the material. It include any metal, any material. Include means what? Is vaster than the vastest. You cannot even imagine. For example, if a scientist he won't see those 10 object or 12 object, he will see the energy, 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 energy in metal, non-metal, all you will see the energy. And that's what happens when you have no mind or you are ecstatic state, or you are high on ecstasy. You will see it's just non-movement movement. And do you desire to become millionaire? No, desires and all those are no longer needed, because anything you can imagine or think is already is. Is already is. Before even you think, it has come to you. Because no hunger, no fill, no non-sleeping, no stress is like non-fulfillment, fulfillment. You cannot describe with the words. That's what the truth which can be explained is not the truth. The movie can be made not on the truth, but around the truth, what is not truth. That's why in the symbol of Tao, you see the light and then yin and yang, male and female, Shiva Shakti. So those male, female, those opposite, they represent the material world. And all together, the Tao, which cannot be described, which is beyond the male and female, yin and yang, the Tao, which cannot be explained. And the other word of Tao, the Om or Amin or Amin or different words. You can give any words or no word. In other mysticism, Yehovah or different Yahweh, different word, but cannot be described. But whatever you like to become is already fulfilled. Already fulfilled. Only thing is, stop wasting your time, energy, and mind into the foolish objects. So, clear perception can show you very clearly that you're not only the king, you're king of all kings, because all desires are coming from that no mind. And it's so clear, so simple. It's too simple because as long as we live as a body, do we get really satisfied? Yes, satisfied. You get hunger, you satisfy, you eat. The next day again, you go to sleep, you again. Then what is such a thing which is eternal satisfaction? A dead body doesn't want to eat every week. And that is the supreme death. Living in the body and not of it, that is the eternity, eternal now. Eternity, living as eternity, as you. Oh. Then what a play, what a dance. Then it become as people like to enjoy the movie, and the same way the one who has become, it's not even becoming, the word says you are like a child, and not childlike or childish, but childlike means your heart, pure heart, which only wants to share and give. What you have to say?
Thank you for the insight.
See, in our life, the smile has no value. It is the representation of eternity. a natural, innocent smile. And as we grow or become stressful, the smiles are blown away. Then there are people who have fake smiles, and that's where the material world has entered in them. But return to the eternity, coming back home, the original home, beyond the name, beyond the form, beyond the words. Om Shanti. Om Shanti.